to the Town of Carver Planning Board meeting, May 20th, 2014, 7 p.m., Carver Town Hall, Room 4. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Starting the meeting, new business, receipt of plans, sign permit, National EMS Institute, 90 Main Street, P 43614S, discussion and possible vote.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mark is here. I forget your last name, Mark. Kohano, from the EMS Institute. They're now down on Tremont Street near the Dunkin' Donuts. And the good news is they want to lease to buy the Siddell's Pharmacy. We're thrilled. And he needs a sign permit. And he'll walk you through it, I believe.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go ahead, Mark.
Do you have the...
They have everything you gave us.
Excellent. So basically, immediately as of Friday, we're going to put up banners in the exact spot of what you see there. Is banners are going to go into those spots until the new ones can be produced. What kind of information do you guys?
Maybe if you would tell them what you plan on doing there, the size of the sign, and when you plan on opening business.
As for what we're planning on doing in the center, is that what you're referring to?
Correct.
So as of right now, National EMS Institute has 3 locations throughout Massachusetts. We have 11 more planned before this time next year to expand even more. Carver is our main campus. It's where we started. We actually started at 66 Main Street in a 500 square foot spot. So Carver has kind of become our home. I actually lived in Boston, grew up there, and now have moved down here due to this company. I started when I was 18. Today we are putting through more students than any other EMT school in the country, and they're all coming here. So people come here from all over the country. Florida is one of our big ones. We take up half of the days in Middleborough for housing. We have transportation to and from the hotel. So they're there, they're buying a little gas, they're buying all of the food from all the other local people. So basically, immediately we're going to take over the left side, which is 7,500 square feet, which should hopefully be done by the end of this week. Then the pharmacy side is going to become an adult education center. So you can get your plumbing license, your electricity license, your contractor's license. Everything will be able to be right there. So that's our plan. So that should be in about 6 months.
The question is going to be kind of like the Peterson School. You're going to do hydraulics license, all that kind of stuff.
We're going to do things that we can do without equipment. So I'm not familiar
Well,
with
they just run classes.
Okay,
Yeah.
then that's what, anything that we can run a class with, then that's most likely what we'll end up doing.
Okay.
Right down to, just as small as knitting classes or basket weaving. Basically a place where there's tons of stuff for people to do there, all kinds of classes. There's also going to be a cafe where students can kind of get their coffee and so forth, all right there inside of the center. So we're pretty excited about it. Our 300 Tremont location that we're at now has been wonderful to us, just kind of outgrowing it. So now we're over here.
I know with the cafe, you're going to have it catered in the beginning.
Correct.
And then start your own cafeteria, and you've talked to the Board of Health about that.
Correct.
On everything you need to do.
Yep.
So what's in front of you is really, the signs are grandfathered. It's the message that he's asking permission on.
I just have a quick question for you, Mark.
Yeah.
Are you going to manager it, or I'm not quite sure what the chain of command is with AM?
I'm the owner.
Oh, yeah, the owner, okay.
Melissa is the vice president of our company.
Hi,
I am
Melissa.
there on basically daily operation, but if I'm not, Melissa is there every single day. And then we have a whole staff and team of people. Company-wide, we actually have, between instructors, contractors, and so forth, about 180 people that are under us, which is great.
And how many students would you have, hopefully, in this building? At one shot? About?
Typically, in a day's worth, there can be 60 people in that class of people that don't live in Carver that are attending that.
That's a big deal. That's a very big deal.
I just have a question. Does the fire department need to do? No?
Well, when he gets, he already has gone through the building department, so that's how.
For the occupancy
And
permit?
then when he gets an occupancy permit, the fire department and the building commissioner make sure that all the alarms are up to speed and smoke detectors and his fire extinguishers. I bet because of your occupancy, you gotta be a little more, there's other criteria you
Yeah.
have to do, but that's not under your purview.
We don't have to.
Oh, yes.
We don't have to just be Carver's rules. We have to. We're also state and nationally accredited. So we have a lot to prove to a lot of people before we can do anything.
Kevin?
My question to you is, first of all, I'd like just to say welcome.
Thank
I
you.
think it's fantastic, and I hope the location's gonna be even better with it being closer to 44 and 58 instead of
Definitely.
495. Parking, you say 60 people, that's fantastic. Have you checked out the parking in there? What is the parking and how many spots do you have? Could you handle the 60? Because my only concern is, sometimes the school across the street uses that parking lot when they have a big affair. I mean, I have a grandson in this town, and
Yeah.
I've had to park across there where there's
Really?
no space.
Aren't you excuse me, aren't you gonna be busing them in though from,
Not always. It really depends on classes too.
Okay.
Some classes, everyone can be from far away, and then some classes, everyone is from this immediate area. So I really can't say that every class will be bused in.
I absolutely want you there. That's just something I was thinking to myself,
Yeah.
you know, being, part
I-
of this town.
I've never been there late enough to know if people use that parking lot yet. I've never been this part of town at night. So I don't honestly, I've never seen anyone
The classes
use that.
take place at night?
The office opens from 8 until 10 o'clock at night.
Oh.
So there's class basically going. Once one class ends, another class starts back up.
So if you were to have 60 people that had to come there to park, that would probably happen between 8 and 10 at night?
No, it would most likely happen between 9 in the morning till 5 at night.
That just may be something you want to look into, that's all.
Yeah, I'm gonna-
Just knowing that.
I'm gonna check on what the requirements are for you before you get an occupancy permit. Of course, if the school's using it, they don't own it.
That's right.
So-
That's right. I'm bringing up
Yeah.
an issue that could hinder you, that's all. I don't want to see it hinder you.
There's plenty of parking for
There's a lot of
us. There's
spaces
plenty-
there.
Oh, yeah.
There are.
Tons.
We'll check on that.
Okay.
Jim?
Almost.
Jim?
Good.
Kevin?
And the last,
ahead.
it's gonna be exactly like this picture, you're gonna have paramedics, ambulance. Any lighting on this sign?
It's lit from the
It's
inside.
already lit, it's grandfathered.
Okay.
They need a building permit, Jack?
Interestingly enough, no, we talked to the building commissioner, and this building commissioner does not require it. I brought Mark, and I forget your colleague's name, the
Andrew?
sign guy, Andrew, the sign guy. I worked with him on this sign, so we could get it to fit a little better, I'll put it that way.
Okay.
So, I think we just need a motion.
A
to-
motion,
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to approve National EMS Institute for the sign package they have submitted to us.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there any discussion?
It's too late now.
I know it, but I'm gonna ask it anyhow. Because you've programmed me.
I'm trying to.
Everybody all set?
Kathy, do you have the original?
Okay, it's all set. I wanna thank you and Melissa and welcome you.
Welcome.
It's,
Thank you.
I'm happy to have you here.
Great.
Good luck.
Thank you guys very much.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
Do we need anything else?
Yeah, good point. Tomorrow morning after
10.
10, you can pick up the permit and then just bring it over to the building commissioner. You don't need a permit from them, but just so it's on record. You're all set?
Thank you.
Go get it, Mark.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, good luck. Okay, moving on to old business. B, discussion and possible endorsement. F. Van Johnson, Form A, 82 Forest Street, P. 557-14A.
Mr. Grady from GAF is here for the next two, actually. You need my,
Yeah, we got another one over here.
oh,
This, did you look into this? I'm not about it.
yes, you're not. He'll talk to you about that. I did double check.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian Grady, GAF Engineering.
Brian, after you show it to the board, make sure you turn it so the camera can get on it, please.
Sure. I think this is the one you called interesting. Was it that one was initially
Yes,
submitted?
I presented this. This is the one that was a rear lot and subdivided as it looks and acts as a rear lot, but it was never designated one by the board back in
I think it was 2003.
2003.
Yeah.
And all he's asking is that you designate it as a rear lot so it's buildable.
Right, in 2003, the plan was to make this a cranberry bog. When it was excavated, it wasn't excavated deep enough, it's not close enough to the water table, never worked well, didn't function as a cranberry bog. So we've recently gone to Conservation Commission and got a determination. It's been abandoned, and nothing's been done with it. There's 8-foot pine trees in here. And we have a determination from Conservation Commission that this is an upland setting. So it's not a cranberry bog, so this is all upland. So back in 2003, this was labeled a parcel to be combined with adjacent property to become combined as all cranberry land. So since it's not functioning as a cranberry bog, we just want to designate it on the new plan, make it clear that it does meet qualifications for a rear lot, which it does. We have the 50 feet of frontage. We have 4.26 acres of land. There's no wetlands on the property, so we meet all your qualifications for that. So it's very similar to a plan previously submitted, but this just changes a few things.
For Jim's benefit, Jim, the board can allow one rear lot per parcel, provided it has 50 feet of frontage and 3.5 acres. And this clearly meets that. Discussion.
After the motion or before?
What do you want, Madam Chairman? Chairwoman.
Kevin?
Clearly, good enough.
Jim?
Fine with it.
Jim? And I'm good, so I need
A motion to endorse.
to endorse.
I'd like to make a motion to endorse F. Van Johnson, the designation of the rear lot.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Doesn't-
We have the Mylar, Kathy Kay?
We do.
So why don't we sign both assuming they'll endorse the next one, we'll sign both of them after the second one. How's that? Okay.
Still under old business, C, discussion and possible endorsement, Charles Johnson, Form A, 28 Fosdick Road, P 558-14A.
Madam Chairman, before we go to 28, just to go back to 82 Forest, Mr. Robinson did ask me to find out whether he was an abutter to the previous one, and I did have Kevin Ford from GAF confirm that Kevin is not an abutter, so very good. I had talked to Kevin already, but just so the public
Okay,
knows.
thank you.
Okay, this plan is just a simple division of a large piece of property. Map 58, Lot 11. We're dividing it into two lots, Lot 11 and Lot 11B. Both lots that are being created have appropriate frontage. This actually has excessive frontage, and the remainder lot which will have the existing home on it. We have over 400 feet of frontage, almost 3 acres of land. The building lot being created, we have 202 feet of frontage, 62,334 square feet of land. There are no wetlands on either of the lots. We do about cranberry bog in the rear, but there's nothing that sits on the lots. So we meet the requirements for frontage in area.
They're related, aren't they? F. Van Johnson and Charles Johnson?
I don't believe so.
I don't know.
No?
I don't know.
Oh.
Kevin's been working with them,
Okay.
and he couldn't be here tonight,
Just
so I don't
curious.
know the relation.
A lot of Johnsons. There's a lot of Johnson growers in town, I know. I don't.
Kevin?
I don't have any questions at this time.
Jim?
Also.
No, it's pretty clear,
Jeff?
cut and dry.
Which is very cut and dry.
Okay. A motion, please?
Motion to approve the Form A for Charles Johnson.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Everyone all set?
Yep, now I need you to just take a couple minutes to sign the Mylar so Brian can leave with them. Yep.
Okay, moving on, 7:15 PM, public hearing to provide interested parties with an opportunity to comment on proposed changes to the Carver zoning bylaws, including the following: changes to section 2110 of Article 2 and section 3570 of Article 3, creating a new section 4680, deleting section 4950, and adding a new section 4950 of Article 4, discussion and possible vote.
You actually have if you look, Madam Chairman, in your section, you'll see a public hearing notice you should read.
Okay, thank you. Town of Carver Planning Board Public Hearing Notice. The Town of Carver will hold a public hearing pursuant to GLC 40A-S5 on May 20th, 2014 at 7:15 PM at the Carver Town Hall Meeting Room.
We posted
Number 1.
it down here, we got
Okay.
booted out.
The purpose of the public hearing is to provide interested parties with an opportunity to comment on proposed changes to the Carver zoning bylaws. The proposed amendments include the following: changes to section 2110 of Article 2 and section 3570 of Article 3, creating a new section 4680, deleting section 4950, and adding a new section 4950 of Article 4. The intent of these zoning amendments is to modify the sign bylaw, create a North Carver landfill overlay district for ground-mounted solar, and establish a new medical marijuana facilities bylaw. Copies of the proposed zoning bylaw amendments are on file at the town clerk's office and may be inspected during normal business hours. Any person interested in wishing to be heard on the proposed changes should appear at the time and place designated. Rosemary Hanlon, Chair. Carver Planning Board, published dates May 2nd, 2014 and May 9th, 2014.
For the record, it is fine to say Bruce Mackey, he was chair.
Chair at the time, okay.
If I may, Madam Chairman, Chairwoman, I gotta get used to that. There's 3 amendments that we're proposing, and I thought I'd walk through. Usually what we do is go through one, you ask questions, ask the public to comment, and then vote on whether you want to move these forward or not, or amend them, and then do each one separately.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
So I didn't put them in any really particular order. The first one is about the internally lit signs. As you know, especially the board members who've been around, the current bylaw prohibits internally lit signs. And we are constantly having requests for that, and we send them to ZBA, and they do their thing, and then they come back and have to come to you guys again for the sign. So in order to have a one-stop shopping, so to speak, we are proposing that we just allow internally lit signs by special permit in the highway, commercial, business, general, village, business zone, in the green business park, and in the industrial zones. Very similar to the existing bylaw that allows you to increase the number or the size of signs by special permit. And I think, and this is mostly for Jim, because these guys discussed these before we pursued them, is the idea was that we would be a little more business friendly, allow one-stop shopping, and then they can be deliberated all under one hearing, and you don't have to take 3 months to get a sign permit. You gotta take the normal process. So in your bylaw that you see, the red is what we are asking and what is on the, what was submitted to the selectmen. The red is the changes to the current bylaw. If you see in the packet, the crossed out blue is what town council is suggesting, and it's just the introduction of it on the warrant article. And for the public, what is on the, submitted to the selectmen was to see if the town will vote to amend section 3, section 3570 of the Carver zoning bylaws by deleting in its entirety section 3570 and inserting the following or take any action thereto. Town council is recommending you say to see if the town will vote to amend Article 3, Section 3570 of the Town Carver bylaw by inserting 3570 and the word showed in boldface below or take any other action thereto. He didn't recommend any changes to the substance, just the introductory piece that's on the warrant.
Kevin, do you have any questions?
No, I think that'd be great.
I have
It'd
to
be good
agree
for us
with
to
you.
do that, because that does slow things down for somebody who's trying to get into the town and work.
Through you, Madam Chair. Jack,
Jack.
should we do something regarding times on when these signs should be shut off at night? We're not
I
gonna
think
leave
you'd
them.
have to deal with those individually, and
Individually?
here's why. Zoning has a long case history that you can't prohibit one person so that they're not competitive with any competitors. I.e., you couldn't tell Mobile Gas Station, I'm making this up, folks,
No.
that they gotta close at 5 PM when Cumbies is open till whatever, or Eagle is open till 7. You gotta remain competitive.
Yeah, but I mean, like something along the lines of the business is closed, the lights aren't on.
Right, and I think I would suggest you do that as they
As
come
go,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Individually.
And a special permit has a special permit.
Yes, this is all special permit, this is not by right.
These would be conditions that you would,
Yeah, as whatever business comes in. Now, the ones that, since I've been here, is gas stations. It's the New England Farms gas station, the Delta gas station before that, the Cumbies. They're the ones that I recall that had to go to ZBA. You know, gas stations are a different kind of beast than say, just a pharmacy or something like that. I
Right.
think you gotta treat things a little differently with gas stations, that people have to buy gas, you know. I don't know, I think if you treat them, this will allow you to treat each application case by case, by a special permit, with a public hearing, with a lot of discretion to say no. Or yes.
did I ask you?
Sounds good, I'm all set.
You're all set? Okay.
Fine with that.
Chad?
Chad, I think you.
No, I'm good. That was
Yeah, I
all
think
that.
Chad is all set. Is there anyone out in the public that would like to have a discussion?
Robert Belvin, 26 Gate Street. I talked to Jack beforehand, the meeting, to let you know that in the reading that you're posting said that the information would be at the clerk's office. None of that information at the clerk office. I went there today. Nothing's posted online about these proposed amendments. So if the public doesn't have an opportunity to come in and know what you guys are to discuss, kind of does a disservice for the public. So I think that you should take this and have it at another date, so the public has an opportunity to look over the documents prior to town meeting, which they haven't had an opportunity to do. I have the one for medical marijuana just because Jack sent it to me and I requested it, but the other ones I don't have.
Okay.
So I request that you guys hold off on any votes to this and any other public hearings.
Let me just hand it
Well,
over to
I
Jack.
can comment. We did confirm all the bylaws are online. They've been online for, I don't know how long, 3 weeks, Kathy?
Actually, they were posted in March. It
March.
was
They've
posted
been
as a-
online since March, so that's done. That's out of the way. I did talk to the clerk, and Mr. Belbin is the only person to request any information from them, so no one's asked. And my office is open the same hours that they're open, so I don't see any concern here at all.
I mean, I have looked online and I can't find them. So I don't know if they were put on and then they're gone after a certain period of time or whatnot.
We just checked.
Because I just,
After you came in, we checked.
yeah.
They're posted as a heading, a department heading under planning board.
Okay, because I don't think anybody would, like I said, when you look in there, the tabs, you can't really find it. Because I searched and searched and I couldn't find them. So,
Well, there's no requirement to put them online. That's a courtesy, but of course we put them online.
But-
We put them as a headline.
but if the people don't have it at the clerk's office like you say it's supposed to.
Again,
then-
the only person to ask from the clerk's office is Mr. Belvin, and he already had them, and he came to my office.
No, I didn't. The only one I have is the medical
But you came to
marijuana.
my office, you had every opportunity.
Okay.
Did you have every opportunity to get them?
It doesn't matter. The point is that you said it would be at the clerk's office. It wasn't there. The public didn't have an opportunity to get it. Okay, so
The
therefore,
public didn't ask.
doesn't matter if they ask or they don't ask.
Madam
What matters
Chairman,
is,
I'll ask town council for a reason.
That'll be fine, and why don't we take it
I
under,
disagree with Mr.
under,
Belvin, but
under
I'll-
advisement?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna,
Okay.
move forward, but he will check with town council and we'll take it under advisement. Thank you, Bob. Is there any more discussion, Kevin?
I was just gonna say, if we can verify that it was posted online and there are people out there that need to know the resources that Bob was looking for, maybe there's something we can do.
Well, I'm gonna recommend that you continue the hearing to June 3rd, just in case Bob's right. I don't think he is, but I'm not always right. And that will protect you. It's online, we've verified that. We can verify when it was posted online. And now it is at the clerk's. I thank Bob for reminding us of that. It is now at the clerk's. So, I'll ask town council if there's an issue.
Okay, thank you. Jim? You all set? Chad,
No, good.
you good?
So I don't need you to vote on these. We'll vote on these at the next meeting.
All of them?
Well, I hope so, but
All right.
that's up to you.
Then do we need to make a motion to?
No, because of Bob's concerns, I want to make sure
Yeah, but we don't need to make a motion to postpone the date.
I'm gonna recommend, since they are all under the same heading, after we get through the three of them, that you continue it to June 3rd, and
Okay.
I don't know what time yet. And then, I'll get the information you need to address Bob's issue. And, I think worst case scenario is I'll have to re-advertise, and we'll have to have a meeting on June 16th or something before the town meeting. That's the absolute worst, issue,
Scenario, okay.
but we'll get to it.
Are we busy June 3rd? Do we have a lot on the agenda?
Well, you have a solar project on the agenda, and you're gonna have another the marketplace will be on it. Why?
I was just gonna say, if we could vote on it, and,
I prefer you not to. I prefer you not to,
okay.
Okay,
just to protect yourself.
okay. The next, Article 20.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
next one is the North Carver Landfill Overlay District. The selectmen asked me, I don't know when, January, December, to look at the possibility of putting solar panels on the North Carver landfill. We did go out to bid, and there were three things that had to happen. A, we had to obviously go out to bid. We have to have a pilot, a payment in lieu of taxes, which Jim is familiar with. We have to have a lease, But we also needed a zoning amendment. And the reason is that the current solar bylaw does not allow solar panels in a BG district, a business general district. The North Carver landfill is in a business general district. So, normally I'd say, oh, let's just allow them in a BG. Well, that was not the intent of the solar bylaw committee, to open it up to every BG zone in creation. So then we started talking about, and this is a discussion with town council, how can we just make it just for there? And so town council recommended an overlay district for just the landfill. And the landfill is 2 parcels. This is, you wouldn't know it here, but this is where Emerald Landscaping is, and this is where Norfolk Power is. This is Frosty Dog, Quickies, and then this is the landfill, and it's in 2 parcels. So that was the first thing. So an overlay will allow ground-mounted solar on top of the landfill. The second piece of this legislation is we would follow every piece of the current bylaw, except the property line runs along the edge of the water. Now, we require a 200-foot buffer from any residential zone. So we're proposing to keep that, that's this line here, so it'd be 200 feet from the residence. Also, the bylaw says, this is the current bylaw, 50 feet from any business zone, so it'd be 50 feet from here. We're recommending, if you'll see it in there, that we also allow a 100-foot buffer from any water body line, which would be here. And this would allow us to get probably as much as 2 megawatts of electricity, and allow us to, we're estimating well over $1 million in revenue for the town over 20 years. And that's still in negotiation, so I'm not positive of that number. And it would be only for here, only for here.
Did you want me to read this, Mr.
I don't
Hunter?
think you have to. I mean, we've talked about this, but Jim hasn't, and I know I briefed Jim on this a while ago.
Any discussion, Kevin?
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you more about the negotiations. So I can tell you this, we had Southern Sky, the same ones that did Ravenbrook were the preferred bidder that the selectmen chose, and we're in negotiations. But it's litigation, and
But that's good, because we're used to them.
they seem
They
to be
were
very
very good to
professional,
work
they
with.
know what they're doing, they paid all their bills that they
Mhm.
promised to pay.
They did.
That's a better negotiation than some of them I'm in. Let me put that
True.
without.
Myself, including myself, they were excellent to
That's
work
right, you've
with.
dealt with them,
Yeah.
that's right, Mr. Sanders.
Jim?
So the existing bylaw is, all the conditions are met for that?
Except I'm asking
Except
that
for what?
along the water body, we go to 100 feet, but not along the houses. The houses are 200,
Still the 200.
and then 100 feet along the water body. Because I felt the water, there's nobody there.
I guess just for my own personal information, have any of the residents attended any meetings or contacted anybody about no
No,
problems at all?
no.
Okay.
If you go out there, we can take
There
a
are,
site
and there are
visit.
7 residences, is that?
There
what I
probably are, yeah, and it's very hard to see them from the landfill, and when the solar panels are on top, you can't see it at all. I've been up there, I've been down there, it's very difficult to see, it's very high, it's one of the restrictions we have with this landfill. And you can see it if you can, the slopes are really steep on this, it's like a little plateau up there, but it's very isolated.
Is 100 feet gonna cut it, being that close to the water?
Well,
As
the
far as your
conservation
grade,
commission,
as far as your grade?
well, I don't know that, that's
Oh,
up
okay.
to them. The 100 feet will get them right at where they will not have to go to conservation because their jurisdiction is 100 feet. That's one reason we did that. The other reason is nobody lives on the water, so it's not impacting any residents. Whether they can go there, I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
Does anyone in the public have any discussion on this? Mr. Belvin?
Again, I have the same thing about the last one, but I did want to bring this up. On the roadway there, it said 50 feet, 53 feet is like from the road to the existing fence that's there, I think. That's really close to it. In that, I don't think people really understand that it's this landfill you're talking about. I thought people were thinking about the other landfill in North Carver where they're already gonna put one in.
It's already there.
It's already there, whatever. Haven't been up there lately. But isn't there one in South Carver too?
There is one, we don't own that.
We don't own that.
No.
Okay, so that's another
That's
possibility.
active, that's an active one.
Right, but if we impose this, is this just this one little area, that's it?
That's it.
Because I don't want the people down there to turn around in South Carver and say, oh, well, you did this for this, so you guys gotta treat me the same.
Well, I think that's the beauty of an overlay, is you don't have to treat them the same. If we did allow it, say, on all landfills, you would, or if it was all BG, you would.
Right.
But the landfill Bob's talking about is owned by Makepeace.
Right.
It's an active landfill, you can't put solar panels on an active landfill, it has to
That's
be
the
closed.
one down in South Carver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so my suggestion would be to increase it from the roadway 100 feet. That'd be my suggestion instead of the 50 feet. Because I think it's going uphill anyways that way.
Well, my only comment on that is the existing bylaw, that the bylaw committee went to a lot of length to, is 50 feet from the business.
Okay. The other thing is damage to the landfill cap. That's something that's really gotta be, make sure that there's no damage, and how do you know you're damaging it, and
In
how
the
far
R-
you're drilling down, and,
In the RFP, they're not drilling, they're doing ballast on top, and in the RFP, they're required to do a closure permit with the landfill. Similar to what they did on Ravenbrook. And what that means is they're gonna put a fabric on top,
And then they did the inch and
then
quarter
they put
stone.
all the gravel on top of that, and then they have these concrete ballasts. They don't go down, they just sit on top, and they're so heavy,
And they're tied together.
and they.
They were quite
Did you go
professional.
up there with me?
Yeah, yeah.
I think
We
you
all
went, yeah, we all went up
I've seen
there.
the one in Canton too.
I was gonna say, they
The other
also
one
did
they
that
did.
huge one in Canton, that
That's
company.
right.
Yeah, I saw that.
This is tiny.
Compared to that one.
This is
Yeah.
a little.
and the last comment would be with that is being so high, possibility of them blowing off or anything like that,
Yeah.
if there's issues with that.
The
and
building department, they have to meet the wind standards, which are pretty high now.
The wind loads,
I think. Yeah.
Okay, I'm done, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna move on here.
The last one is the medical marijuana. I don't have any, oh, can I go back to
So,
the solar, or the North Carver landfill? If you look at 4860.3, if you see what I crossed out, it says, however, if the proposed blah, 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 which is large scale ground out to solar, abuts a water body which is zone residential, the planning board may waive the setback requirements not less than 100 feet. Town council just changed the wording to, however, if the proposed solar project abuts a water body which is zone residential, the planning board may reduce the setback requirement from the water body to not less than 100 feet. That's the language they wanted. So when you vote on this, I'd like you to amend that, but we're not ready to vote on it.
okay.
It's just language. The last one is the medical marijuana. Town council had no issues with this because town council helped write it. So I guess it's pride and authorship. I don't know if you want to talk about this, Mrs. Hanlon, but you chaired the committee. It was the police chief, the building commissioner, the board of health agent, myself. Am I missing someone? Was on the committee. We are requiring by special permit these medical marijuana facilities to only occur in the industrial zone that's in Tremont Street where Deacon's is. It's an industrial A and an industrial B zone. We've not had any petitions. All the
Hasn't the
petitions,
state given out all the permits?
I don't know if they give them all out.
Last I heard, I thought they gave out like 30-something. Plymouth got one, Taunton, I believe.
Didn't Plymouth have like 3 or 4 of them?
Was
Yeah,
it 3 or 4?
Yeah,
That
they
many?
did,
Yeah.
yeah.
We didn't have any
Yeah.
petitions, so, but this is just protection. And for Jim's sake, we had to allow it somewhere.
And there were only
Attorney General's,
5 per county, correct?
5 per county. The AG said you have to allow them somewhere. The committee decided that, and the police chief was all over this. If you're gonna let them go somewhere, send them down there. So we think it's a pretty protective bylaw. It mirrors exactly what the Attorney General and KMP wanted.
Want it? Right.
So the police chief was reluctantly okay with it. Would that be safe?
Correct, that's correct.
That's his job.
Discussion, Kevin?
No, I feel really comfortable that you were heading up the chair on this.
Thank you, Kevin. We did a good job. We all worked relatively well together and we got it accomplished. Jack and Mr. Tinkham did an outstanding job also. I think it worked out well.
And I should say, when we drafted this, we didn't know if we were gonna get
Yeah.
any
No, we didn't.
application.
We just knew we had to do it.
Right.
Jim?
That's it.
No, I
Chad?
think it's a good bylaw.
Open it to the public? Mr. Belbin?
All right, this one I have to sit down for because my back is doesn't bother me. All right, so I went through this one. This is the one that I did have from Jack. Again, I still want, people should have the right to come here. All right, the first 4950.3 under definitions. The 5th paragraph, the 5th sentence down, 3 definitions.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th one down there, after products containing marijuana, I would suggest getting rid of the related supplies or education materials. All right, that give them the opportunity to sell those items there, but other people will be able to sell them too.
I have to really think about it. It's been a long time. But there were rules and regulations on that by the state as to, if I'm correct, there were
Yeah.
rules and regulations as to what we had to allow and what we did not have to allow.
But
Well-
will you, I know you're probably gonna have more than one.
Oh, yeah.
Could you give us these in writing? Your comments?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, and then I can pass them to you, I'll pass them to town council, and I'll pass them to the police chief. Is that
Right.
okay?
That's fine,
Yeah.
yes. I'm just trying to go back because I think we had a lot of rules and regulations by the
That the
state.
AG gave us.
That the AG gave us that we had to work with and what was allowable and what was not allowable and
Well-
how it was going to be handled.
I don't remember.
Okay, my only thing here is that we don't want to limit competitiveness through other businesses that want to sell those items related to pipes, bongs, rolling papers, or stuff like that to,
I don't think other people can sell them. I think it has to be in
Yes, that any
This-
paraphernalia.
had,
Yeah,
had to be sold
rolling
through.
paper you can buy anywhere,
Oh,
pipes you
roll-
can buy
Rolling
anywhere.
paper, yes.
All right, so.
But this isn't prohibiting, this is just defining what a facility is.
Right, so if somebody wants to go ahead and open one of these types of shops to just sell these other paraphernalia, that should be held differently than somebody who's actually gonna be growing or selling stuff. That's my only concern.
I don't think they can't do it. I mean,
Well, I
Well,
think,
no, aren't head shops illegal in Mass?
yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's basically what it is, right? Selling paraphernalia. the
Right,
bongs.
but I mean, but if it's used for medical purposes, that's a whole nother option
It's
for people.
illegal unless you have a petition that's qualified by the DPH, the Department of Public Health,
Right.
and then awarded, right?
I believe
Jan
that's.
knows more about this.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you
that's what it
did you
is.
read the bylaw?
I read what we had was given to me,
No,
that's
you
what
might
I
not-
went through.
I'll send
So-
you what the DPH or whoever gave it to us.
Okay, but that was this is a public hearing, so I didn't,
Yeah, no, that's
my
okay.
opportunity to put this out here, all right? Being devil's advocate here. The other thing is, on that one for transports,
Where are you reading?
I'm still in definitions. It says transfers, transports, I'm going back, I'm sorry. But,
Okay, yeah.
shouldn't transporting be a separate license and fees for that? Because if you're actually growing it here and then transporting it somewhere else.
They have to be in the same center. They can't be separated.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying is that if you have a grower here, I mean, if he's transporting it to someplace else, then why do you need transport in there or not?
it can't be handled in that fashion. These people have gotta be designated, they have to be,
Well,
Well,
wait, what's the question, Bob?
my question is that
Or the concern?
the concern is somebody who's transporting it should be held in a different light than somebody who is growing it. If they're transporting it for another one of their facilities, all right, to be sold, then maybe that should be a separate license. That's my only concern, is that you need to regulate that a little bit more tighter than somebody.
I understand
who's-
what you're saying.
That's my concern, the
the
transportation of it.
transportation. of
Wouldn't
it.
that fall under the state though, as far as
Well,
transport?
it says here that it means a not-for-profit entity as defined by Massachusetts law only, registered under this law, that acquires, cultivates, and transports, blah, 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 to qualified patients or personal caregivers. Transports, sells to qualified patients or personal caregivers. It's not transporting from a farm to a store. It's to qualified patients or personal caregivers.
Exactly.
Okay, just, like I said, that's a little confusing in there, the way that's written, that's why. My next one is the whole industrial A district there, only in Tremont Street area. I mean, there's not many places that you can put one down there, so wouldn't that be an issue?
Where are you reading, from?
All right, this is 4950.4.1, medical marijuana facilities.
Yep.
And it's allowed in
In
the
the
industrial
industrial
A zone district. Okay, so if we say they're allowed in industrial A down there, and there's no place down there
There's
to,
vacant land down there,
there is?
absolutely.
Okay.
Right, there's 2 lots right in front of Deacon's.
2 lots, that's it.
Yep. You can talk to the police chief.
Okay, I'm just, like I said, if there's somebody who wants to go in and try it, the next one is 4950.
I think that's a
I
problem.
just
Too many
want,
people
I
wanna
just
go in
wanna
and
say
try it.
something. You know what the rules and regulations are to go in and try it, what you have to do.
No, I understand the hoops that you have to go through.
Yeah, okay, I just didn't
totally
know-
understand
okay,
that.
yeah.
I'm just, this is our bylaw that we're gonna have to deal with here in our town. I'm just like putting it out there that if these 2 lots that we have are gone, then somebody has
I
an
should
opportunity.
remind you that these are the exact locations that, I gotta remember, adult uses.
Adult use,
can go.
right.
Right.
But I thought that was also, you could use North Carver too, with that one.
Only the industrial A.
Right. I think I said that too. in
There's a
meeting.
reason
I
for
think I
that.
said that in one meeting, but no matter what. All right, the other thing is that
Where are you reading?
4955.2, no medical facility shall have a gross floor area of 2,500 square feet.
Less
And it-
than.
Less than 25. I think that should be lowered to 1,000, because I mean, if you're just doing a dispensary, you're not gonna have a big room. I mean, so 2,500 square feet's a lot for
I don't
the
think
sale.
it's just gonna be a dispensary, I think people have the right to go in there and sit and read.
I don't think so. You can't smoke it in the facility.
I hope not.
No, but you can sit and read.
People are not gonna be sitting and reading in one of these.
They'll be
If you
running
go to
outside.
California and take a look at those, they don't do that there.
No, they're selling Girl Scout cookies outside.
That's what they're doing.
Actually, Bob, I do think they do in California, because I think I had the article that I brought that said that they were doing that in California. I would
I
have to really
disagree.
go back and remember.
I don't
because it was
remember why
such-
we did 2,500
It
on
was
it.
such a long time ago that we did this.
But,
Right.
okay,
This
put it
is
in writing, you can
like-
take it under
Mine is
advisement.
1,000 square feet. That was my suggestion.
I wanna
Okay,
make sure the police chief chimes in on whatever Bob comes up with.
absolutely.
All right, then the hours of operation, you kind of really limit the hours of operation for it. I mean, you may want people who work 12-hour shifts or whatnot, they may have a difficulty getting in there if they do have one. So I don't know what the standards are for other places or whatnot, but I think that closing it at 7 and then opening it at 8, I think open a little later would be nice.
No, it's the opposite. It's open at 8 AM. It won't be open from 7 PM till
To
8
8
AM.
To 8 AM, that's what I meant, but extending that time.
I think if I recall this, the police chief wanted it even more restricted.
Yes, he did.
And you wouldn't let them. You just said you had to be. So,
Right.
Put it in writing, we'll see.
Yeah, that was my thing there. Then, the signage for it,
What number, Bob?
I'm sorry, 4950.5.7, signage for medical facilities. that if you're requiring them to put this text in here, that it not be counted to the square footage of the sign. Okay, you're requiring them to put stuff in, it shouldn't be included in the actual sign permit for it. So if they're given so many square feet for their sign,
It's
all right,
2
that's all.
inches, Bob.
Well, you know what, it depends, like I said, it depends on the size of the sign and everything,
Well,
but
it can't
that
be
shouldn't
more.
be included in
Yeah.
their whole thing, that should be excluded, my thought process on that. Because you're mandating that, and it's not something that they wanted to have in their sign, so it shouldn't be included in it.
Okay, you'll put that in writing?
Yeah, it's in there, I'll
Okay.
send it to Jack.
Okay.
All right, the next part is about the applicant, and that's 4950.6.3. D, the applicant is a business organization, statement under oath disclosing. Why do they have to disclose all these different people in it to the town when it's already done through the state?
This was a mandate by the state, I remember
That they notify
Yes.
the
Yes.
towns?
Yes.
And the
Alright.
police chief especially.
And then on the next one, a certified list of all parties. All right, what parties? Is there actually, are we just using the list of
Yeah,
the butters, or is that
well,
what we're discussing? Or
no,
are we
I-
I mean, something like this, the parties, I mean,
I'll tell
that's
you-
kind of ambiguous.
I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Okay.
Parties in interest in zoning are abutters and anyone who files a notice with the planning board saying, I want to be notified. That's what that is. That's a little duplicative, but it's in there.
Can we put that language in, so it doesn't say parties, it says they're butters, or
Well, we can
notice to
put, maybe
interest?
put parties in the
Parties in,
parentheses.
parties in interest is right out of the zoning text, right out of the zoning text.
And then there's a part in there about security alarms.
Where is?
F.
On F.
Okay.
I have a concern about that because of them telling you what their actual security system is going to be like or whatnot. I think that should be closed in, that it shouldn't be made out to the public as a emergency issue there.
No, what this is just that they're gonna tell us what kind of lighting they're having, what kind of gates, alarms. We do it with the solar bylaw, we do it with a lot of different, the fire department's all over this stuff. This is not, we're not wanting their codes or anything like that.
Right.
They have to file with the fire chief anyway with the alarm system, so.
The next one is 4950.6.6. The applicant's ownership of the president's premises as a medical marijuana facility. What if they don't own it? They're renting it or leasing it for that. Shouldn't that, whether it says applicant's ownership of the premises, shouldn't it be a deed or a lease or
Yeah,
some type of a?
put that, yeah, that might be true. I know what you're saying. So they're leasing the building. And that would not be the owner of the the premises though. The premises is the building. Give me it, we'll see.
Okay,
I'm just giving this to town council.
No, that's fine.
You gotta make sure you dot your i's and cross your t's.
I'm just, and the last one is, my question actually is 4950.6.7. How many people actually went over this document prior to it being put out there?
Well, the committee did, line by line.
The very last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 words.
Yeah.
What's a tower? What's a tower?
I don't.
Where, I don't even know where you're reading.
4950.6.7, the board shall require the applicant to post a bond at the time of construction. Go all the way down. It goes into saying an incentive favor of 1.5
Factor.
shall be applied to all bonds to ensure compliance and the adequate funds for the town to remove the tower at prevailing wages.
Remove the business. Good, very good, Bob. Even town council didn't catch that one.
Okay, and then, what is there a price tag that we're putting is for these bonds? I mean, for
It
this,
says
The state.
factor of 1.5. So they'll
of
tell-
how much the business is worth?
Right. Oh, the construction of the building. if there's no construction, then I guess it wouldn't be necessarily, a bond may not be just a removal of the business.
So, I mean, that 1.5 could be a lot less
Could be.
than what the building is worth, and maybe we need to have an actual figure
Well, it
up
does
there.
say that, the value, shall, to post a bond at the time to cover the cost of the removal of the facility.
But that.
So
like I
they're,
said-
what the board does, they do this in other things, they'll require them to give us a quote, we give it to our engineer, he then gives us what we feel the number is, they set the number, multiply it by 1.5, that's the cost of the bond.
Okay, so it'll be more than what they say it's gonna
Yeah.
be. That's my
Usually what
concern.
happens is, I'll make this up, they'll come in at 60,000, our engineer will say it's 90, they always go with our engineer.
Okay. Now, my last question here, and it's a good one, is this considered, okay, a hazardous material as in, to the fact, well, if we're cleaning it up, if someone walks away from all this stuff that's in there, now we have all this marijuana that may be growing in a building or whatnot of that,
That is absolutely not on the hazardous material list, I
okay?
know it.
So, that may be, how many people can dispose of,
Now, maybe there is some kind of licensing for disposal, I don't know. I don't think this, I wonder if the state even knows. This is all.
I know the
right? I know
state and the
like,
feds burn it when they,
right,
Yeah,
so I
I
mean, we
think they
have
have
that,
I think they have a facility, don't quote me, like towards the Springfield area, that
I
they
don't
do
know.
some burning.
yeah, because, I mean, maybe the police chief could find out, just for the fact that they had that building, or the basement that the guy was,
oh, yeah.
And they came in
yeah,
there
I wonder how they got rid
how they got rid of
They
that,
probably
and find out,
have a company come in, right?
And do
They
it.
wear
And do it.
suits.
so,
Give me in writing, well, what I'll do is, Bob's, I think some of these are very good. I'll give it to the town council, I'll give it to you, obviously, and to, the police chief. We put it all together and.
That'll be great.
Figure it
okay,
out.
and actually, I did have one more, but we do have a right to farm bylaw. How does this bylaw affect the right to farm bylaw?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit.
We did.
It is agriculture in
Because
some
it's
way.
agriculture, so I mean,
Well, it's obviously, it's not exempt under the agricultural use, because it's a facility.
okay.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, because
know
like
what
I
you're
said,
saying.
someone comes in
Kinda like
here
the
and says-
berry guys, they have a farm
Yeah.
stand, it's
Right.
agriculture. But the state took care of that already.
So that's just my
It's an
concern.
interesting one, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Kinda
you.
like somebody tried to make the argument that
Thank you,
solar
Bob.
was a farm, solar farm.
Kevin,
Welcome to the planning board, Jim.
any discussion, Kevin? Is there anything you want to discuss? No? What about you, Jim?
I'm good.
Mr. Chad? I'm good myself.
I'm gonna recommend you continue the public hearing to June 3rd at 7:30. You'll need a motion
I'll
in a
need a
second.
motion in a second.
Make a motion that we continue the hearing to June 3rd,
At 7:30.
7:30.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, is there anyone else out there in the public that wants to discuss any of these? Okay, I just want to make sure my colleagues are all set here at the table. Okay. 7:20, which we're well past that, another public hearing in conjunction with the road commissioners to receive comment regarding the street acceptance for Morrissey Drive, which will be presented at the annual town meeting on June 2nd, 2014. Discussion and possible vote.
I'm gonna have to talk to council about this. I'm gonna ask you to continue this too, because the selectmen at the last meeting changed town meeting to June 16th.
Okay?
I didn't know they were gonna do that when I wrote this.
Do I need a motion?
No, I would like to hear you have testimony first, and I'll explain. This is a hearing still. It's just that it does say June 2nd. That's what I always put in, where that's, the selectmen had voted, that was town meeting. How do I know they're gonna change it? So I just wanna see, I'm gonna ask you to, let me present. Morrissey Drive, right before Billy Hallinan retired, He wanted to make sure that I go to next town meeting, which is this one, to make sure that Morrissey Drive is accepted as a town way. For some reason, it slipped through the cracks, was never accepted as a town way. It's been here forever. We maintain it, we plow it, we do everything. So we've notified all the abutters and the building, the DPW commission, and we're, part of this, Jim, is to have a public hearing to get testimony on why we should or shouldn't accept it. That's about all I got.
Thank you, Jack.
We did hear from some abutters. We sent a notice to certified mail to all of them, and a couple just wanted to know what's this all about. And once they knew we were gonna accept it, they were happy. So I'll wait until you're done with testimony, and then I'll tell you what I think you should do.
Kevin?
I
Not
don't know
much.
what to say.
There's nothing to say.
Jim? Jack? Anyone out in the public want to have a discussion about this?
I guess it was a positive. Bill gave thumbs up for this.
He asked me to go. I didn't even know it wasn't accepted. I'm gonna suggest you can also continue this to 7:35 on June 3rd with the understanding that town meeting has been moved to June 16th. And then I'll also ask town council about this too. I've never run into this. They've never changed town meeting. Sometimes they'll continue town meeting, but to change it in the midstream, I never heard of that before, so. A motion to continue the public hearing on Morrissey Drive with the understanding that town meeting's been changed to June 16th and continue the hearing to June 3rd at 7:35.
Would like to make that motion?
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Kevin.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to the last one.
Yep.
And it's Marketplace Square LLC, 124 to 128 Main Street, special permit, apartments above commercial and minor modification, P 43314 SPMM, discussion and possible vote.
I was asking the owner, the new owner of Market Square, to come in and talk to you about why he's continuing these, but I just got notification he had to have surgery done and he could not make it. So I'm gonna ask you to also continue this to June 3rd at 7:45.
Okay,
Make a motion to continue.
well, do I need to ask the public? Well,
No.
there's nobody else.
No, you're not having a hearing.
Hearing,
No, no,
okay.
no.
Go ahead, Mr.
Make a motion to continue the public hearing at 7:45 on June
16th. Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Very good.
Okay, I need to make, I have to close the public hearing?
No.
No,
You're continued, all of them?
they're
are
all continued, okay.
You're on G.
So I guess we can just move on to other business, which would be G, planning board notes. Does anyone on the planning board have any notes? Mr. Kavicki?
No, I'm good.
Kevin?
Nothing at this moment.
Mr. Hoffman?
All set things.
I guess we're all set, Mr. Hunter. So why don't we move on to planners notes?
Okay, if you look in your packet, at the last meeting, we worked very hard trying to accommodate more dogs at 92 North Main. And lo and behold, we had a meeting with the police chief, with Peter Allegrini from Sign by Design, with Chad representing the planning board and myself, and we've come up with a plan. You'll see it in your packet. You'll see the green no left turn signs and the proposed traffic cones and the in and out directions that will be put on the property. I did talk to Bob Moore today. He's agreed to all this. He's going month to month on this property. He does not, I talked to the owner of the property, he's not giving him a long-term lease. It's a month-by-month lease.
Wow.
So think of that.
So he's doing a lot of work for
So
a month.
he's gonna do a lot of work and he's taking a risk, but, you know, it is what it is. He was just waiting to deal with NSTAR and trying to get power on the site, and then he'll do the improvements before he opens. So you've already given approval to this pending Chad and the police chief's approval. They both approved this on site. And this is the plan. I put it in the file for the record. I want you to see that. Next, you'll see in your packet.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
could I just thank Mr. Kavicki for going out and doing an outstanding job with the chief and Mr. Allegrini and Mr. Moore?
Thank you. It was 3 signs and some cones. It wasn't that hard.
Thank you.
Interestingly, he wasn't at the meeting when you told him he had to go there.
Thank you, Mr. Kavicki.
Next, you'll see in your packet, this is a plan for Federal Road. If you recall, the planning board approved a solar project for Makepeace. This is Federal Road, Jim, all the way down by Wareham, near the landfill down there that Bob was talking about. When they started to survey the land, they found that the paved portion of Federal Road is actually partially on Makepeace's property and not along the surveyed right-of-way. And you'll see the red line outlined, that's the Federal Road surveyed right-of-way, and the green is where the pavement actually is. So they're asking the town to just flip-flop, to put the right-of-way where the pavement is and give them the land where the pavement isn't. Town council's working with AD Makepeace's attorneys to hopefully try to get this in for next town meeting, or for this town meeting. It might have to wait until fall town meeting, but I wanted you to know that this is coming. What else? We're still shooting our BDC promotional video to entice businesses to come in town. We've gotten a lot of cooperation. We've interviewed New England Farms, the gas station. We've interviewed Buzz Artiano, Nancy Green at Green Photography. We interviewed Morse Engineering, who just opened up in North Carver. We're still going to do Carver Florist and Dimension Spa, and we've done a flyover of the town. And hopefully we're going to get a really nice, exciting video explaining why Carver's a good place to do business, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm looking forward to seeing that whenever he's getting ready. The governance committee is actually having a public hearing tonight. If you probably have heard, they've come up with, gosh, it was a whole list of changes they're recommending to how we do government, merging buildings and grounds with the school department. They want to dissolve the DPW. They want to make the Board of Health appointed, not elected. They want to make the tax collector treasurer appointed, not elected. I may miss some of these and then they also want to merge the land use section. It's in front of the selectmen next week. I don't know what they're going to do, but film at 11, we'll see. The last thing is, two things on Edaville for Jim's benefit. The last time Edaville was into you for the entranceway, remember
Yes.
the berm and all that they did, one of the conditions of approval was that they rescind the subdivision that's in the parking lot.
Yes.
And that they grant easements to the town, and so that they can do a sidewalk and a boulevard with treescapes and all that. I have a draft plan, and I'm hoping at your next meeting, which is getting longer every minute, that we'll have a rescinding vote or a proposal for the subdivision and an acceptance of the easements for the streetscape along Pine Street. Also, we had another neighborhood meeting last night. Kevin's come to one of those. And we're working with the neighbors. You know, they're doing stuff out there, and they're building more amusement rides, and it has impacts on the neighbors. And for the most part, the neighbors are trying to be cooperative, but they have a lot of questions, and they want to know where things are, when they're going to open, when they're not going to open. And I think these neighborhood meetings, we meet every 3 months, are very helpful, very helpful. So I'm going to ask Kevin to keep coming. I know he couldn't make it last night, but maybe as the planning board's rep, know he knows, has some colleagues over there. He can help out.
Good. Thank you, Kevin.
That's it.
Okay. We'll move on under other business to approval of minutes, May 6, 2014, discussion and possible vote. How we doing?
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain, we want abstention. Okay, I need a,
Any
no,
correspondence?
we need to do.
Yes, there's two things in
Correspondence.
correspondence. Just quick, you can
Correspondence.
take home. One is you can't take home. This is the signatures for the registry of deeds that Kathy's gonna have for you to sign before you leave. And secondly, it's just an updated contact list that you can take home maybe if you wanna communicate, but don't break the open meeting law.
Exactly,
But
please.
also, I
Wait,
wanted to.
there's more, Kathy, take
Right.
that.
Okay, go ahead, Kathy, I just wanted Jack to
Oh,
maybe
please
explain. the-
verify that all your information is correct on that contact
Okay.
list. And let me know if not.
Oh, this.
Oh,
Yes.
from the ethics?
Yeah.
Yes, you, Kathy will explain. She's got a handle on this more than I do.
Okay.
Okay, Jack had forwarded to you the ethics, commission letter and the sign up for the workshop, but in addition there is, Lynn, the town clerk, was saying that every 2 years, everyone on a board or commission needs to receive this letter that the clerk will issue, and then sign a sheet, which you'll see is the last page, and sign it and give that to the clerk saying, verifying that they have indeed received this letter. And then you also have to do, no, that's every year. Every 2 years, you have to do an online test for the ethics, which is referenced on the front. So, Jim, the clerk, has gotten your signed receipt, so you don't need to sign it, but they didn't have verification that you'd done the online test, so I'm not sure if you did that and it hadn't been processed yet. But everybody needs to do the sign that they've received this letter and then do the online test.
It's fun.
Okay.
You can't fail, Joe.
Oh, hang on.
I've tried.
Yeah, that's not the one to sign.
Oh.
That's just a copy of the sheet.
You just keep going back until you get it right, and then you move on.
We're signing
Mr.
this,
Hunter.
giving this back.
What's that?
We're signing this.
Yes, you're signing whatever.
You're not signing that, you're signing the one that's coming
No,
down.
The one that's coming down.
This, Kathy has the original.
This is just a copy for us.
That's copy
Okay,
for
cool.
you, yep.
Would you just please, Mr. Hunter, explain the open meeting?
Well, yeah, you know, if you're gonna wanna communicate something to the board, I strongly urge you to communicate it to me or Kathy, and then we can send out, if it's appropriate, to the board as a whole. If you want to, don't respond unless it's to me or Kathy. Do not respond to another board member, because you'll be violating the open meeting law. That's I think that's what you're talking about, and there's a million other things, but.
I agree with you.
You know, if you go to this ethics training, they'll tell you everything you really need to know, and if you take the ILON course, it's pretty common sense, but it's a very easy thing to just say reply all, and then if you do that, you're in doo-doo. So
Do that.
if you, Kathy and I are not on a board or a commission, so you can talk to us anytime you want. And if it's something that's appropriate for the board to get information, I send it out, don't reply. You've received it, you can look at it, and then you can discuss it here in an open meeting. That's about it. It's pretty simple stuff.
Thank you, Jack.
Is that it?
That's it.
Don't forget, you need to sign the Form As. There's one set over here and the other set over on that table.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.